Hi, my name is Vincent Everts. I'm a trend watcher and I'm interviewing Ray Gibson, and he is the CEO of Careerchain. Ray, what is Careerchain all about?
So Careerchain is a new way of applying for jobs. Candidates can put a profile onto the blockchain, onto Careerchain, and use that to apply for any job with one click. So it solves the problem of having to re-enter the same information over and over again to apply for many jobs, which is a big problem for employers who are spending $200 billion a year in the job market, trying to attract the best talent. There's already a competition and a war for talent, and they're missing out on a lot of these candidates who skip over their jobs, and the conversion rate can be as low as 1.5%, especially on mobile phones, where candidates are limited in how much they can type, and
their tolerance level for form filling is really low.
Okay, and that is a general problem, of course. And what is the goal of putting it in the blockchain, and what is exactly put on the blockchain?
Right, so when a candidate's applying for a job with a Careerchain partner job board or an applicant tracking system, the information that they are entering gets saved to a Careerchain profile if they accept, and then they can keep reusing that same information to apply for more jobs with one click. So having it on the blockchain means that it's very, very reusable with one click, and it also provides an opportunity for them to go off and get verified with their career history as well. So there are additional levels of service built on top of the blockchain, so they can verify that their career history is actually correct, their education history is correct, or any skills that they want to get certified. Yeah. So it becomes a new standard in the job market that facilitates many other services at the same time.
Okay. And how are you going to make sure that the industry accepts you as a player to put in CVs, and that you are basically the one where people can put on CVs which are then trusted and open and shared, and etc.?
Yes, so we've been working in the job market now for almost 20 years, my co-founder and I. So I've been a recruiter, a headhunter, HR director, mainly in Europe. And my co-founder, Andrew Evans, was on the founding team at careerbuilder.com back in 1995, which, I don't know if you're aware, was the first real job board in the world. So between us, we know a lot of the major players anyway, and we're in discussion with the major job boards and major applicant tracking systems in the world. And we also signed a partnership deal with Careerchain already with the leaders in talent technology research, who are based in New York. It's a firm called Talent Tech Labs, and out of Manhattan. So especially in North America, we have a lot of active conversations with the job boards. Fortunately, we don't need to win candidates directly. It's not a problem of having to win candidates to get adoption. We only need to win 8 or 10 of the major players to get 90% of the market and get traction for Careerchain.
Yeah. And so it's also, the Careerchain is a non-profit, right? I mean, can you explain how that works?
Yeah, we decided to make Careerchain a Dutch stichting because Careerchain's mission is not to seek profit. It's actually to make Careerchain profiles a global standard in the job market. And it helps other people join in our story. Of course, saved profiles online are not actually new. You can have an Indeed profile or a Monster profile or a LinkedIn profile. But the challenge that those businesses have is that they are proprietary, so they're private businesses, and their competitors, understandably, are not willing to adopt those as a standard. So we decided to make a non-profit organization that doesn't compete with anyone, but that they can all join in and partner with Careerchain. And that helps it become a global standard and a base layer in the HR technology space.
Okay. I'm looking at the partners because, I mean, then, of course, it's really important that you have those 10, 20, 30 online platforms, which are now currently very important in different parts of the world. How far are you getting into that process?
Yeah, we're very far along with a number of players. We're talking to some job boards and applicant tracking systems and staffing agencies. We're going to be releasing those names very soon, actually, so that when we have the main ICO sale in September, everybody will know who the launching partners actually are. Okay. It's too early today to quote those names because we're in discussion and negotiations, but they're very far along.
Okay. Let's talk about the technology. You say I can put my CV, and I mean you have also another company, Start Monday, which is a tracking system for employers where you put in video. So that's some of your. What kind of technology do you have that video can be in there, or that large amount of data, which a CV can be a very rich experience? How are you going to put that on the blockchain? What technology are you using for that?
So we're using a private instance of Ethereum to record the hashes of candidate profiles on the blockchain.
Yep.
The data itself is stored off-chain so that the job seeker or the candidate is really in control. So we're using IPFS for that. And we're releasing mobile apps and web apps for the candidates to manage their own information securely. And the 16 Careerchain, the Careerchain Foundation, also helps candidates manage private keys so that they don't have to worry about what happens if I lose it, then we can help them recover their information. We respect that people in the jobs market, let's say if you're 19 or 20 years old applying for 20 or 30 jobs, using a Careerchain profile may be very man and you need to recover. So one of the roles of the foundation is to support candidates and job seekers at the same time.
Okay. And you're using a private version of Ethereum. Is that the current choice, or is that the future choice, or when there's other? Why? I mean, of course, I would like to have my, I would like to have that whole stuff on a public blockchain so that it's independent of you. But what is your thinking of selecting that road?
So yeah, the current thinking is to have a private instance of Ethereum. That may change as we get towards the full release in September. Actually, there's some changing space. So if we change, it will because it's something better than our first judgment. The reason to make it a private permissioned chain is because then we avoid the burden of high gas costs on the mainnet of Ethereum, for example, while still maintaining a controllable network, a controllable blockchain. And it still remains impartial and decentralized, and the architecture does not require the Careerchain Foundation to actually persist. It doesn't require that we still exist in a year or 10 years' time. The chain can carry on. So we're designing it so that the blockchain technology still persists, whatever happens to us. And then it can just perpetuate and continue. Okay.
The token, the role of the token, what kind of token is it, and how is it used?
Yeah, so it's based on an ERC20 token and then swapped for a Careerchain token at product launch. And tokens are used by job boards agencies to pay transaction fees. So they pay a small transaction fee for processing a Careerchain profile on the blockchain, which helps them convert candidates much faster, so they're prepared to do that. We validated that they're quite happy to pay a small fee. Job seekers and candidates don't need to worry about tokens, don't need their own wallets or anything like that. But what it does mean is that those transaction fees paid in tokens come into the economy, and then they're split in two ways. A small part of that transaction fee becomes what we call an attribution reward. So it goes back to the first job board partner, for example, that signed up that candidate. And then the remaining portion of that transaction fee goes into the proof of stake consensus model. So anyone holding tokens in the Careerchain economy can earn proof of stake rewards.
Okay.
If they just host a simple node, which is just a connected device.
Okay. I see that the division is 65% is for the token economy, the token sales and the foundation reserve, and 10% founding partners and team are 10%, and Start Monday is 15%. What is the role of Start Monday, and why are they getting that cut of that distribution?
Yeah, so Start Monday, as an existing business that's a public listed company already running for the last 4 years, has been incubating Careerchain as an idea and as a research project since November last year. And then we've decided to spin this out as its own non-profit organisation. But the reward for doing this for Start Monday is a share of the stake, so a 15% stake in the whole economy from the beginning. It's worth pointing out that there are lock-up periods, obviously, for the founding team and for Start Monday, so no one has to worry that we're going to start selling tokens anytime soon. There's, I believe, a 1-year lockup for 50%, and then I think it's 50% for 36 months as well. So
okay,
it gives people some reassurance.
Yeah, and Start Monday is a public listed company. And when did Start Monday get started?
We actually founded the company around the Startup Bootcamp accelerator program in Amsterdam,
wow,
which was from October 2014, and then our demo day was in January 2015. So we graduated a little over 3 years ago, and we went public in October 2016 in the US, Canada, and German stock markets.
Okay, so you're a startup, you're publicly listed, you make a non-profit, and you want to make a national standard, international standard for the CV market. Okay, so that's fascinating. We'll hear more about it on June the 7th when you will pitch on the stage at the Blockchain Innovation Conference. So fascinating. Thank you very much, Ray. See you there.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Vincent. All right.
And that's it.
Very good.